Have you ever caught yourself thinking way deeper than everyone else in the room, even when you didn't mean to? Like you notice tiny things other people miss, or your brain suddenly connects two random ideas and somehow it makes perfect sense? Today we're breaking down 8 tiny thoughts, little mental habits, that quietly reveal you're a deep thinker. Deep thinkers often have a super sharp social radar. Your brain runs quiet background scans without you trying, checking tone, timing, energy shifts, and tiny emotional signals. It's like how your phone runs apps in the background, except your brain's doing it with people. You don't always know why you noticed it, you just do. You have the very sensitive sense. A simple example. Someone says, "I'm fine," but their voice drops just a little, and your brain flags it immediately. You don't call them out, but you know something's off. You're tuned into the quiet things others miss. It's actually a sign of emotional and cognitive depth. Your brain doesn't just see what's happening, it feels why it's happening. Your brain zooms out, takes a step back, and starts asking bigger questions without you even trying. What's the context? Why did they say it that way? What's not being mentioned here? Most people see the picture. You see the frame, the lighting, and the story behind the camera. Your brain connects dots across emotion, logic, and experience. It's like your mind is always peeling back a layer just to understand the real meaning behind things. You're not trying to expose anyone. You just believe that human stories are rarely simple and life usually has more chapters than the one people show you. And honestly, that depth is a gift. In a world that loves filters and polished moments, you're one of the few who listens for what isn't said, who sees life in full color, not just the highlight reel. In simple terms, your mind wants clarity. It wants truth. It wants connection. And when something feels off, your brain keeps digging until it makes sense. Sure, some folks brush things off and move on instantly, but you don't. You value words. You value intent. You want to communicate in a way that feels genuine and respectful. And guess what? That's not overthinking. That's emotional intelligence meeting intellectual depth. Thinking doesn't mean you're insecure or overly sensitive. It means your brain cares about clarity, emotional signals, and intention. You don't just hear words. You decode tone, expressions, pauses, and meaning beneath the surface. It's your brain's social-emotional network doing its thing, especially the prefrontal cortex and limbic system working together. Basically, your mind is running a relationship check-in in the background. And sure, sometimes it feels tiring, but think about what it really means. You replay conversations because you value connection. You want to understand people. You want to communicate better next time. That's emotional intelligence, not overthinking. And honestly, the world needs more people like that. People who speak with intention instead of ego, who listen beyond the words, who care enough to think twice. Most people operate on the surface level, what's obvious, what's right in front of them. But your mind zooms in and zooms out at the same time. What's happening here? What does it mean? What changed? This is why you often feel things before they're said. Like sensing tension before an argument happens, or spotting when someone's smile doesn't match their eyes. And yes, it can make the world feel intense sometimes, but it also makes you the kind of person who gets it, who catches silent signals, who reads a room, who understands life in the small moments, not just the big ones. Most people only see the obvious. You see the truth hiding in plain sight, and that's not overthinking. That's awareness. Have you ever been in a conversation where everyone just accepts things as they are, and suddenly your brain goes, wait, but what if it isn't like that? Or you hear a simple statement, and instead of nodding, you find yourself wondering, how does that work? Where did that idea come from? What's the bigger picture here? You're not trying to argue. You're not trying to sound smart. Your brain just refuses to live on autopilot. This happens because deep thinkers have a naturally curious mind. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain linked to reasoning and reflection, is always whispering, let's look deeper. Most people look for answers to function. You look for answers to understand. You want context, logic, and meaning, not just instructions. So while others say, that's just how it is, your brain replies, maybe, but why? And sure, sometimes people might think you're overthinking or complicating things. But here's the truth. Curious minds move the world forward. They question, they explore, they challenge assumptions, and because of that, they discover paths most people never see. You're not difficult. You're not too much. You just think in layers, and not everyone can keep up with layers. Have you ever caught yourself staring out the window or pausing mid-task and suddenly your brain starts weaving ideas together? Maybe you look at a simple moment, someone waiting quietly, a small change in someone's tone, a random sentence in a book, and suddenly you're thinking about human behavior, life patterns, the future, and what this really means. To other people, it looks like you zone out. But in reality, you're doing what deep thinkers do best. You're processing the world, not just passing through it. Your brain doesn't like empty space. It fills silence with insight, questions, patterns, meaning. It's that same default mode brain network, the part active when we're not doing anything. Except you are doing something. You're analyzing, imagining, understanding life from angles most people never bother to look from. You don't just live life, you try to understand it. You ask yourself things like, why do people act this way? How are all these things connected? What's the lesson here? What's my place in all this? And honestly, that's rare. Most people chase distractions to avoid thinking. You, on the other hand, your thoughts are your favorite place to be. It doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means you care about figuring things out. You see the world as a puzzle, and you're quietly working on the edges, piece by piece. And if you recognize yourself in these little moments, that's not a coincidence. It means your mind works on a deeper level, quietly, constantly, beautifully. The world needs people who think like you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you in the next one.